I get this question a lot. Penguin, why don't you use Arch on your mainline computer? So I'm going to go ahead and answer that. Hey everyone, what's happening? Today we're talking about Arch Linux and why I don't use it and why I don't really recommend it for people to use. And now this is going to be a controversial video. I've been doing a lot of those of late. So we're going to go ahead into this. So now we're going to dive into why I don't use Arch on my mainline computer and why I don't cover it a lot and why I don't necessarily recommend it to a lot of users. Reason number one, Arch is not stable. Now, a lot of Arch users would consider that heresy for me to even say that. Now, when I say this in like live stream chat rooms, etc., I get these answers like, well, Arch, I can run it without breaking it. I've run it for several years without breaking it on one computer. Yes, it is possible to run Arch Linux without breaking anything for years. It can be possible. But when I say stable, I mean a stable package base that maintains a stable work environment. Arch doesn't have a stable package base because it's a rolling distribution. All its packages are constantly rolling forward. That includes libraries, program versions, everything. This has its advantages, like you're going to get the cutting and bleeding edge features on the bleeding edge of development. However, this can also cause lots of package conflicts, and also when programs roll forward in versions, it can change the user interface entirely, and then you can end up with a loss of production time while you're trying to figure out the new interface for one of your programs. Now, I use my computer to actually get some work done, and I can't have a computer that's constantly rolling forward and wondering if it's going to break some dependency when I hit that update, or I cannot worry about whether my workflow is going to change with an update. Now with Ubuntu, I roll forward every 6 months, but I get to choose when I roll that forward, and I can plan ahead so I can go through all my applications, make sure that my workflow is not going to change, and I can allow myself the ability to learn that new workflow without having to get work done because I've planned for it. Arch does not allow for that kind of planning. So that is reason number one, is why I don't use Arch. So reason number two, the AUR can cause some problems. Now the AUR, for people who don't know, is the Arch user repository. It is this massive repository that is maintained by the community, which is normal users, individual developers, and it's not put together by the Arch developers. Now this has a great advantage of having access to a bunch of software that the Arch team does not put together in their standard repository. However, this also can cause problems because random people on the internet could be packaging these packages. So you could have an improperly built package, or someone could, in fact, upload malware to the Arch user repository, even though they kind of moderate that to a point, but it is possible. It has happened in the past. You could be introducing a completely unstable package into your system, which could cause a bunch of package conflicts. And because of these problems, you have to know how to handle the AUR. And if you don't know that much about Arch, and you're not watching your packages, then you can run into some problems with it. One of the biggest problems is, seems how it's being maintained by the community, a developer could just suddenly stop developing a package you've installed through the AUR, and because of Arch's rolling nature, it could break your system because it depends on some old library that gets rolled forward with your system, or it prevents that library from rolling forward, so it breaks the rest of your system. That can happen with the AUR if you're not paying attention to what's being developed. So the AUR, yes, it's a good resource, but also if you don't know how to handle it, it's also a big problem. Okay, reason number three. Arch Linux has a high difficulty installation process. Now, most distributions that people see, like Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, they have guided step-by-step graphical installation processes. This is not the same way with mainline Arch. Now, if you go to archlinux.org and pull down an ISO and stick it in your computer, you're just going to get a command line. And you have to go in and build your operating system through your command line. Now, there is a great guide in the wiki. If you follow it and know how to read and have some knowledge about command line, you could probably figure it out, but it's definitely not for beginners. Now, this isn't true for all forks of Arch. Forks of Arch like Manjaro and a couple others have guided graphical installs, and those are easier to install for the beginner. However, you still have some of the other problems that come with Arch. I'm not going to say most people should be running Arch because of this as well. And because of this high difficulty install process that mainline Arch has, I really don't recommend Arch for brand new users and some intermediate users. It's not something I can do in good conscience. So reason number 4, the Arch help forums can be extremely hostile. Now, there is a popular answer to newbie questions in the Arch forum, and that is RTFM. Now, if you're not familiar with what RTFM stands for, it stands for Read the Manual. Now, when new people to Linux manage to get Arch installed, and then they try to go to the Arch forums for help, and then they're told to RTFM, that kind of discourages new users from using Linux. And it causes a lot of problems for the new people. And I don't think that is a valid answer in forums at all. As long as that is a popular answer in the Arch forums, which it is going down in popularity, I can't recommend it. I cannot recommend the distribution if that is going to be your answer to new users. So these are the main reasons why I don't use Arch Linux. If you like this video, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you didn't, that's what that thumbs down button is for, and go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. If you like my content and wish to support my work, you can do so on Patreon. The link is in the description. Also, if you wish to see more, check out the videos on your screen.